Hello to you, beautiful people. My name is Noa Lakshmi, and I'm here to elevate humanity for a better world. Thank you so much for joining me, because obviously I cannot do it alone. And if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you found my video. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I always appreciate the support. And really exciting week upon us, ladies and gentlemen. And just a little bit, if you are new to my videos, I love astrology, and I use astrology as a tool to help us navigate through this experience that we call life, really seeing what the cosmos are doing and seeing that as a reflection of what is merely happening for us as humans on this planet. So regardless if you are into astrology or not, we can all benefit from this knowledge, which is really ancient wisdom. And if you are into astrology, great, then you're gonna find this even more entertaining. So yes, really exciting week. It's a new moon week, and we are also coming out of a lot of new changes. You know, the last few months have been so much about reinventing ourselves, reinventing our relationships, really moving in a complete new direction, or perhaps a reignited passion of yours or a reignited direction. We had the big shift happening at the beginning of May, which is the shifting of the nodes. And so collectively, individually, for each and every one of us, and collectively, we are in this new 18 months cycle, which I talked about that last week. So please go and check out my video from last week, that we all moving in a new direction. So putting this new moon into the context of this new direction, okay? And I'm going to focus on the new moon today. You know, there's a few other things taking place this week, but really the new moon is the main event. So the sun moved into the sign of Gemini on the 20th. Today is Monday, the 22nd of May. The sun moved into Gemini on the 20th, so we are in this new cycle for the next 30 days. The major event, beside the new moon that is taking place on the 25th of May, Thursday, is Venus. All right, and I'm going to explain how this new moon, although it's in Gemini, is actually in some way goes back to Venus and connecting to Venus. And I've talked about this quite a bit. I talked about the fact that this year, looking at 2017 and 2018, with one of the main focuses being our relationships, with Jupiter being in the sign of Libra for the entire year of 2017, or at least until October, and then moving into Scorpio. Relationships are highlighted for us, and it's a good thing, because we all really need to focus and pay attention to who are the people in my life, what kind of relationships support me, what kind of relationships don't support me, and how to go about it, okay? And it's not always the easiest thing. And the most important thing, of course, is the relationship that you have with yourself. That's my biggest thing, is the relationship that you have with yourself, and everything else is merely a reflection. So even the relationships that you do find yourself in, the people that you do choose to have close to you, are a reflection of how much you love yourself, how much you value yourself. So it always comes back to the relationship that you have with yourself at the end of the day. So relationships are highlighted, and we can see it also in the cosmos with what's going on with Venus. You know, Venus is the planet that is associated with our relationships, with our human connections. It is associated with our wants and what it is that we like or don't like, what it is that we like to attract into our lives, and what do we find attractive. So Venus is definitely playing a major role here on the stage, on the cosmic stage. So what's already happening today, as we are approaching this new moon on Thursday, Venus is starting to square the planet Pluto. Okay, now that's always quite an intense happening, and it's an intense conversation the two planets are having with one another. A square is a point of tension. You can just think about a square, a 90-degree angle. It's not necessarily the most harmonious, but at the same time, that challenge brings about a big change. Now, especially when it comes to the planet Pluto, Pluto is about death and rebirth, is about transformation. It's about a deep change, not just on the surface. And also Pluto is about truth, and it's about uncovering our truth that comes from the courage to dive deep into our innermost, vulnerable, and sometimes dark places. Okay, that's what Pluto is all about. So you can only imagine a conversation like that with that kind of energy, Pluto, with Venus, the feminine energy, and like I said, the planet that is associated with our relationship. So Venus is starting to square Pluto, which we are starting to feel right at the beginning of this week. The interesting thing is that the exact, there's something to be said when something is exact, and there's like a click. The exact click, the exact square is going to take place on the day of the new moon. So not only that we are approaching the new moon, it's like we're going to get into the phase of a dark moon, which always takes place a day or two before the new moon occurs. Venus is also approaching that exact square with Pluto. What does it all mean? And how come the moon, even though it's in Gemini, is actually associated with Venus? Moon is in Gemini. The planet that is associated with Gemini is Mercury. So we want to look at what is Mercury doing on this stage, okay? And Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, okay, which is it's very helpful for us right now, that energy, because Mercury in Taurus is giving us the stability that we need with all these massive changes that are taking place, okay? So it's really good. It's keeping our mind steady and stable, which is good and it's important. And at the same time, and I mentioned that last week, is to be aware, just to be mindful that you don't get stuck on just one way. That can be sometimes something that we can fall into, So, but nevertheless, we have that stability, and Mercury being in the sign of Taurus, Taurus is associated with Venus. So that's why the new moon is actually connected to Venus in some way. It's not a direct way, but it's associated with Venus, and Venus is going to be scoring Pluto right on the same day of the new moon. The new moon is always new beginnings. It's always we plant a seed for a new cycle. It's a small cycle. It's a 30-day cycle. It's a 2-week cycle until the full moon. And it's a beginning some sort of a beginning, a new beginning. So this new moon, it's in Gemini, and Gemini is also about connections. It's about exchanging information with other people. So Gemini is kind of like the social butterfly. It's the energy of us connecting, of us exchanging with one another, of networking. It's a very social energy. So we are, again, looking at our relationships and connection with other people. What kind of people we want to connect with? What are the connections in my life that actually bring harmony and joy, which is associated with Venus, that sense of harmony and beauty? Which are the relationships and connections that are not bringing harmony and joy? And that's the brutal truth. That's the square of Venus and Pluto that is taking place of, are you really being true to yourself with your connections, with your relationships? Is there something that you're hiding? Is there a way that you're giving your power to other people? And Venus scoring Pluto is this invitation to bring the power back to you. That your sense of self-worth, Venus, self-value, Venus, because Venus is in the sign of Aries, so it's all about the self. Is it rooted in your own self? Is it rooted in your own power? Or are you seeing someone else's action, behavior, decision is something that is impacting your sense of self-worth. And that is how we give our power away. What we can see right now with Venus and Pluto in this square is, there might be the experience of I want someone, or I'm attracted to someone, I desire a certain relationship, and it's not going to be reciprocated. And you're not going to experience the same thing from the other person, or it might be the opposite. And do you take it personally? Do you really let that affect you, which is very disempowering? And that's the truth that is going to be uncovered. And where is it coming from? Why am I letting another person's preference or lack of desire to affect my self-worth and self-value? Those are very important questions. Then we ask ourselves, well, why is it happening? Right? And then we need to go deeper. Pluto, we need to go deeper into ourselves and look at the structures, because Pluto is in Capricorn, looking at the structures that we've built for ourselves, our ego structure, our belief systems, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about relationships. That's the raw truth that needs to come out. Now, with the sign of Gemini, since the new moon is happening in the sign of Gemini, we are looking at communication. We're looking at decisions that we need to make. What's really important with this new moon also in Gemini is to make sure that you're looking at the facts, because that's where the square of Venus and Pluto comes in play. We can sometimes be overly consumed, with Pluto, overly consumed with what it is that I'm attracted to. I'm just attracted to this person or this connection or whatever it is that you feel attracted to, feel that you desire that in your life without really paying attention to the facts, just because there's some sort of a delusional thinking, and with Neptune and Pisces, we can still fall into that delusional thinking, and you're not paying attention to the facts, and that can bring about a lot of pain. So with this new moon in Gemini, there is that opportunity to pay more attention to the black and white facts. What is actually happening? And according to that, making a very clear-minded decision regarding a relationship, regarding a person or people in your life, regarding a project that you are looking to invest your time in. Are you really want to do that? And if, it might be, and I'm not a big fan of an either or decisions. I'm really a very expanded kind of Jupiter mind thinking. My sun is conjunct Jupiter. That it's not either or, it's both and more. And there's most of the time there's a way to, expand our horizons. But sometimes there is this it's either this or that. And that's not a bad thing. And, this new moon in Gemini is showing us that maybe there's some sort of a situation in your life, in some sort of a relationship or things that you feel attracted to or desire, to actually be very clear with yourself and say it's either this or that, and make that either or decision, and to really communicate what you need, to communicate your desires. That can really arise right now, and something I want to invite you is to, if there is something in a relationship that needs to be sorted out, because it doesn't have to be black and white in terms of we either stay together or we completely go our separate ways. Maybe right now is the most powerful opportunity to have an exchange of some sort where both individuals, or maybe it's just you, or maybe it's just the other person, that need to communicate, well, what are my deepest needs? What are my deepest desires? That Pluto squaring Venus, to really communicate from your heart and be vulnerable to say, look, this is what I really need. This is what I'm really desiring. And to see it can either be accommodated or not. And in whatever situation, whatever the relationship, it can be romantic, it can be friendship, it can be a business partnership, anything that connects you to another person, that you might find yourself in a place where I really need to communicate that. I really need to exchange this information with another person in order to make my decision. And to pay attention to the facts, to pay attention to what the other person is telling you, and not just hide behind an illusion or some sort of a fantasy thinking. So I really want to encourage you to do that. Communicate from your heart. Communicate from the depth of your own heart and soul, and uncover the truth for yourself, the truth for the other person, the truth in the relationship. And then is this the right thing? Is this the right thing for us to do together? Is this the right thing for us to continue? Is this the right thing for us to build together? All those questions are really vital and important right now. And then we have a new cycle, and then we decide, okay, we're planting this new seed, whatever the new seed may be for you, for the other person, the other people, and the relationship and relationships involved. Yes, so that is my message for you for this week. So exciting, so wonderful. We're wrapping up the month of May here, going into June very soon. But that's what I have for you for this week. And if you are liking these videos and other videos, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. And please share these videos on the social media with your friends, with people that you think will enjoy and benefit from these videos. If you are looking to have a personal reading, an in-depth reading with me, one-on-one, please check out my website, noalakshmi.com, for your reading. And also, if you're interested to work with me one-on-one on a more consistent basis and really upgrading your life from the inside out. Again, sending you so much love, so much light. Thank you for all your support. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful new moon and a wonderful week. Set now.